Hi, and welcome to this short introduction to the Adolescent Kit for Expression and Innovation. My name is Juliet Young, and I'm a consultant with the Adolescent Development and Participation section of Program Division at UNICEF headquarters, and I was also part of the team that developed the Adolescent Kit. Next slide. So let me start by telling you about what the kit is. UNICEF's Adolescent Kit for Expression and Innovation is a package of program guides, tools, activities, and supplies designed to catalyze or strengthen programs and interventions for adolescents' social and emotional well-being, learning, and positive active engagement with each other and their communities. And the kit uses arts and project-based learning with a human-centered design approach for adolescents to develop and use competencies to cope with the challenges they face, to develop and enjoy healthy connections with others, and to take action to positively transform their own circumstances and their communities. And the Adolescent Kit was designed drawing from best practices in psychosocial support, life skills education, child protection, and peace building. All or part of the kit can be integrated into programs for adolescents in areas such as child protection, education, and adolescent and youth development, or it can be used to set up a new program. The kit can be used by those who are involved in managing programs in humanitarian situations, or those who are working directly with adolescents in roles such as teachers, child-friendly space facilitators, youth workers, and community volunteers. And so far to date, the kit has been used to reach 340,000 adolescent girls and boys in more than 19 countries. And a new adapted package for programs responding to the COVID-19 crisis also offers activities and approaches to reach and engage adolescents who are under stay-at-home orders. Next. So let's start with an overview of the kit's purpose and what it is and what it includes. Next. So the overall aim of the Adolescent Kit is to bring about positive changes in adolescents' lives through arts and innovation. UNICEF's Adolescent Development and Participation, or ADOP section at HQ, developed the kit collaboratively with UNICEF country office teams using human-centered design and programmatic approaches from mental health and psychosocial support, life skills education, child protection, social cohesion, participation, and peace building. So to contribute to those positive changes for adolescents, the kit offers guidance and tools and activities to bring groups of girls and boys together who are ages 10 to 18 as adolescent circles. And by meeting in a safe space on a regular basis, these adolescent circles have fun, cope with difficult experiences, learn, and take action together. And adolescent circles offer supportive structure, meaningful activities, and even leadership roles for adolescents ages 10 to 18 at a level that's appropriate for this critical stage in their social and emotional development, and also a level that's appropriate to the diverse interests and priorities of different groups of adolescents in different circumstances. The many activities in the kit give adolescent circles opportunities to express themselves, to experiment, to solve real problems, and to explore new ideas. As they participate in these activities, adolescents develop key competencies, new skills that they use at this stage of their lives and the future. And this approach of creating adolescent circles can be introduced into programs across the different sectors I've mentioned, including child protection, education, and youth development. Next. So the guidance, tools, and supplies in the kit can be used by anyone involved in managing programs or working directly with adolescents in humanitarian and vulnerable development contexts. These people might include program designers and managers, also teachers, child-friendly space facilitators, youth facilitators, and community volunteers. And again, the resources in the kit can be used to catalyze and design a new program or to strengthen an existing program by introducing new approaches and activities for adolescents. all of the guidance, tools, activities, and supplies in the kit were designed to support adolescents in developing 10 key competencies. And a framework in the kit, which outlines these 10 key competencies, supports program designers in setting outcome-based goals for adolescents and or aligning the kit to their existing goals for adolescents' well-being, learning, and action. So on this slide, you can see an outline of those 10 key competencies. The 10 key competencies are broad domains of skills, abilities, and attitudes that adolescents need to develop and use to be emotionally and socially healthy, to learn and grow to their full potential, and to engage positively and actively with the world around them. And these competencies intersect with adolescent psychosocial well-being, with their development, and with their use of life skills, and also with their right to participation and their right and capacity to contribute to peace building. And that's how they fit into the different types of programs I mentioned before, such as education, protection, and youth development. Next. And all of the resources in the kit are also designed to support anyone working on programs with and for adolescents in using 10 key approaches that are essential to achieve those positive competency outcomes for adolescents that I just described. So the 10 key approaches bring together standards, principles, practices, and methods that are drawn from many of the key program sectors I have mentioned before, as well as from UNICEF's other guiding bodies and frameworks for our work with and for children and adolescents in humanitarian contexts. So we integrated these into 10 simple, action-oriented phrases to support program coordinators, perhaps such as yourself, with their teams and partners in developing and using a shared approach for working with and for adolescents in your actual program design and implementation. And you can learn more about the 10 key approaches and the 10 key competencies, what they are, and how to include them in your program planning by exploring the guidance and tools that are part of the Adolescent Kit, which I'll explain more now. Next. So as you've heard me say a few times now, the Adolescent Kit includes guidance, tools, and activities, which are the essential components of the kit. And it also includes supplies, but we'll wait to talk about those in a few minutes. So the first thing you should know about the guidance, tools, and activities is that they're all available electronically on the Adolescent Kit website, adolescentkit.org, and you can see the website at the top of this slide. So if you're considering using the kit, we strongly encourage you to spend some time browsing the website. We hope you'll find it easy to find your way to the guidance, tools, and activities that you might find useful, and you may even find that's all you need to get started. As you do browse the website, keep in mind that all of these resources are intended to be selected and adapted for different programs, different contexts, and different groups of adolescents. You could use some or all of the materials depending really on your program situation and goals. And I'll also mention that although this presentation and this view of the website are in English, you may find it helpful to know that all of these resources in the kit are also available in Arabic, French, and Spanish. And selected materials have also been translated into various other languages. Additionally, the resources in the kit are designed to make it possible to translate into other languages if you wish or need to do so. Next. So most of the guides, tools, and supplies in the Adolescent Kit are for two categories of people who may be working on programs for adolescents. And these are two categories that you've already heard me mention a couple of times by now. So some resources are specifically for people we'll call program coordinators. And by that, we mean anyone who's designing, leading, managing, or otherwise overseeing a program or intervention for adolescents. So if you're watching this webinar because you are planning or hoping to strengthen a program for adolescents, and this means whether you're a UNICEF staff or someone working in that capacity for another organization, For this webinar, you might think of yourself as a program coordinator, and you should know that the kit includes guides and tools for you as a program coordinator to decide how you will use the kit, how you will build and support your program team, and other steps you can take to build a strong program using these resources. So with the second category, some guides and tools, as well as the activity guides, are for who we'll call facilitators. Facilitators are the people leading activities directly with a group of adolescents. And in your context, you might call people by other terms or titles, such as teachers or youth volunteers. But the most important tool for facilitators is the category that we call the activity box. And I'm going to tell you more about the activity box in a moment because it's really the heart of the Adolescent Kit. But for now, I'll also mention that there are additional resources for facilitators to support them in bringing adolescent circles together, to prevent and handle challenges within adolescent circles when they arise, and also to set goals together with adolescent circles based on the adolescent's own needs and priorities. And these also include steps for facilitators to plan phases of activities for adolescents using resources from the activity box as building blocks. But most importantly, across all of these guides and tools, there's a category that are for both program coordinators and facilitators, and we refer to these as the foundational guidance. These are resources that help program coordinators and facilitators to work together with a shared understanding of program goals and using shared approaches and methods in their work for adolescents. So a minute ago, you heard me talk about the 10 key competencies and the 10 key approaches. And those two frameworks are some of the most important elements of the foundational guidance. The foundational guidance also includes other guides and tools to support program coordinators and facilitators and anyone else to learn more about adolescents' needs and potential, especially in humanitarian contexts, and to build and support programs that uphold their human rights. Again, I will talk more about the supply kit in a minute, but for now, I will mention that there's another guide for both program coordinators and facilitators, and that's the supply guide. The supply guide includes checklists and tools to help you decide whether to order the supply kit, as well as other checklists and tools for procuring and managing the kit and other supplies and materials in your work with and for adolescents. Next. And now let's talk about the activity box, which I mentioned before is really, in many ways, the heart of the Adolescent Kit guidance. And the activity box includes 90 different types of adaptable activities for adolescents. And these range from simple fun and games to much more complex steps that adolescents can take together to design and carry out challenging projects with support from their facilitators. So there are 3 types of guides in the activity box. First, there are activity guides, which are detailed guides for activities for adolescents. Some of these are short, pretty simple games and creative activities that can fit into a session of an hour or 2. And others are more complex, challenging activities for adolescents to work together on longer-term projects that can and should be carried out in a sequence of sessions over the course of a few days or a few weeks. Then there are energizers, which are what they sound like. They're short, easy activities to help adolescents get active or to quiet down and feel more calm. And third, there are inspiration cards, which are there just to stimulate adolescents and facilitators' creativity. Each inspiration card offers a creative project idea and then just a few suggested steps, which the adolescents can use to figure out for themselves how they might adapt and carry out the project suggested on the inspiration card. So like all of the Adolescent Kit guides and tools, all of the activities are on the Adolescent Kit website, and they're on a page that makes it easy for facilitators or anyone to browse and search. For example, you could search by the energy level the activity requires for adolescents, or you can find activities that are suited to different literacy levels. or you can choose activities at a level of challenge and complexity that's right for each adolescent circle. And all of the activities are designed to be adaptable and inclusive. So each guide includes suggestions to adapt them to adolescents in your programming context. And most importantly, to be accessible and inclusive for adolescents with and without disabilities. And none of these activities requires expensive or special supplies, material, or equipment. The supply kit is especially designed with materials to make these activities feasible and engaging. But you may be able to support these activities using the same simple, inexpensive materials that are available to you locally. Next slide. Something important to understand about the 90 different activity guides in the adolescent kits is that they are not presented in a manual or a curriculum. Instead, each of the 90 different activity guides are designed as individual building blocks, or like recipe cards, that program coordinators and facilitators can use to plan a sequence, or what we call a phase of activities for their adolescent circle. So the facilitator guide provides more guidance for how to plan these sequences of activities. It outlines 4 phases that can work best for adolescents of different ages, or those at different levels of readiness to work together as a team, and those with different interests. So for example, we found that some adolescent groups find it healthy and helpful just to have fun together, while others find it meaningful to collaborate on complex and challenging projects that enable them to take some kind of action in their community. So the 4 phases are starting our circle, where adolescents participate in easy, energizing, and relaxing activities just to get to know each other and build some connections and feel a bit comfortable working together as a circle. The second phase is knowing ourselves, and that's for adolescents who are ready to explore their own identities and learn about themselves and each other through creative and innovative arts activities. The third phase is connecting, and that's for adolescents who are really ready to learn skills to build healthy relationships and also to work together as a circle and even reach out and connect with their communities. And then fourth is taking action, which is a phase for a strong, connected adolescent circle that feels ready and interested to plan and carry out projects with their families, schools, communities, and each other. And the facilitators can use the phase approach to build flexible, adaptable sequences of activities for adolescents that give them a chance to take challenges or just take a break and have fun, depending on their interests. And this phase approach is also sustainable. It allows facilitators and adolescents to continue to develop skills and collaborate on projects for as long as their program continues. So they can repeat any of these phases as many times as they want or wish, or go back to another phase if they prefer. Next. So now at last, since we've talked about the guidance tools and activities, let's talk about the supply kit. And if you're using or considering using the Adolescent Kit resources in your work with adolescents, you might want to take time during this part of the presentation just to think about whether you will need or benefit from supply kits as you start or strengthen a program using the other resources in the kit that I just described. So like all of the resources in the Adolescent Kit, the supply kit was developed through a human-centered design approach, and it has a few special and unique features. So first, as you can see in these pictures, it looks very different from some other UNICEF kits. Instead of including a large, heavy metal box, the kit includes lightweight carrying cases and pods for its other materials. And these are especially for programs for adolescents in hard to reach and remote places and/or outdoor and shared program spaces. So it's designed to be lightweight and portable to reach adolescents and to support programs in those kinds of spaces. And each supply kit is designed for use with a total of 50 adolescents and a usage period of 6 months. So those figures, 50 adolescents, 6 months, may be helpful for you if you're deciding how many kits to order and when to order or even reorder them. Next. You should know that most of the supplies within the supply kit are stationary, materials that adolescents can use together as they work on activities and projects. And we tried to make good choices for these supplies, balancing considerations such as cost with maximizing quantity so they won't run out too quickly. We also considered balancing child safety with considerations of what kind of materials would be appealing to adolescents. So these supplies by design are not expensive or fancy. And in most cases, even within 3 to 6 months of a recent onset emergency, it should be feasible to replace or renew them by procuring new supplies locally. And even the carry-in cases and the pods you saw on the last slide are designed to be replaced and rebuilt easily. And the guidance and tools in the kit even include templates for use to make new carriers and pods out of plastic coroplast or even just corrugated cardboard. Next slide. And the supply kit also includes hard copies of some, but not all of the guidance and tools that you can also find as e-files on the website. So it especially includes hard copies of some items like the activity guides that might be useful to have in paper copy for facilitators. So especially if they're youth volunteers who may not have easy access to devices or printers, these activity guides come printed for them. And the hard copies in the Adolescent Kit supply kit are printed on durable material, so they're going to last longer even if they're handled often or exposed to the elements. However, keep in mind that these hard copy materials in the supply kit only come in English. If you need hard copies of materials in Spanish, Arabic, and French, we recommend that you download and print them from the website. And if you're ordering supply kits, it may be helpful to have the guides, tools, and supplies that you have already chosen ready and printed out so that they'll be ready at the moment that you receive the supply kit. In particular, you may want to begin immediately to print, download, and review the supply kit, the supply guide, which includes a user-friendly inventory list. And you may also want to download and print activity guides, energizers, and inspiration cards for immediate use as soon as you receive the supply guides and are ready to start your program. So if you're printing out your own materials, we recommend that you also consider using sturdy, durable paper if you have them, and also being prepared to sort materials into binders to keep and organize them. And by the way, the supply kit does include binders to help you to stay organized, but you might also find binders at home and procure them locally if you can. Finally, I should mention that inside the supply kit, there is also a USB drive that already has on it all of the electronic resources in the kit, the same ones that are available on the website. So this way, if you or your partners are in a low bandwidth location, you won't have to rely on accessing the website in order to have access to those resources. Next slide. A couple of more notes about all of the guidance, tools, and activities in the kit. One thing to know is that all of the resources in the Adolescent Kit are designed to address principles of gender equity. So in the foundational guidance, the one that's for both program coordinators and facilitators, you can find this technical note that you see on the screen called Adolescence and Gender Equity. And this explains how all of the guidance tools, activities, and even supplies can be used to build or strengthen a program that upholds and promotes gender equity, goals, and outcomes. And you'll also see specific suggestions for how to ensure gender equity that are included throughout all of the guidance and tools in the kit. Next. And additionally, the entire Adolescent Kit is also designed for equitable access and inclusion for adolescents with and without disabilities. So also in the foundational guidance, you can find this technical note, which is entitled Adolescence and Disability. And this note explains how the Adolescent Kit guidance reflects principles of inclusion and how it can and should be used to reach and engage adolescents with and without disabilities inclusively and equitably. So you'll also find specific suggestions for how to ensure equity and inclusion for adolescents with and without disabilities throughout all of the guidance and tools in the kit. You may even remember that I mentioned before, each activity guide includes some specific recommendations for adaptation to ensure that the activities are accessible and inclusive for adolescents with and without disabilities. Next slide. So now let's just talk a little bit about a few examples, 3 examples of how UNICEF country offices and their partners have used the Adolescent Kit. And I hope that these examples illustrate some possibilities for you of how the kit can be adapted for use in different contexts and also to support different types of programs. If you're interested in seeing more examples from different countries around the world, you can find many more examples on the Kit in Action page of the Adolescent Kit website. So let's start with Nigeria. UNICEF Nigeria has been continuously using the Adolescent Kit in a complex environment, which is Borno State, in the Northeast region, which is affected by intense conflict. There, the Adolescent Kit is used to engage adolescent girls and boys who escaped from Boko Haram and who are survivors of violent extremism, but are subjected to stigma and rejection from their communities and families. UNICEF Nigeria has been using the kit in that region since 2017, and they've now expanded and institutionalized this approach, training a pool of master trainers and community facilitators. And now they're continuing to expand the scale of their program to train even more facilitators and reach more adolescents. And they found that as a result of this ongoing use of the Adolescent Kit, boys and girls who have participated in the program are showing positive and healthy behaviors, mobilizing resources for their disadvantaged peers, speaking up against gender-based violence, and even taking on leadership roles in their communities. If you'd like to learn more, on the Adolescent Kit website, you can find a short video was produced by the photographer John Baynard that includes footage of practitioners and young boys who are engaged in utilizing the kit. And the video shows the positive transformation of the adolescents through their traumatic journey and the commitment and perseverance of the youth facilitators to bring about positive and peaceful change within their communities. Next. Now over to South Sudan. UNICEF in South Sudan has been collaborating in the development of the Adolescent Kit since 2014, when the kit was still in the early stages of development. And since then, UNICEF South Sudan has been contributing to the kit's ongoing evolution. The team there has been utilizing the Adolescent Kit through a cross-sectoral approach that's implemented through both child protection and education programs, which are part of the humanitarian response to the protracted conflict in that country. And more recently, in October 2019, UNICEF facilitated an Adolescent Kit training of trainers to scale up the implementation across the country and to support staff and facilitators from UNICEF and 14 partner organizations. And that training of trainers supports them in refreshing their skills and also promoting the kit's practical application in schools and in protection of civilian sites. Next. So turning to a new hemisphere, UNICEF in Colombia has been using the Adolescent Kit in a unique context with adolescent boys and girls, responding to the needs of many who are internally displaced due to the conflict in that country and to the challenging influx of people migrating from Venezuela. The UNICEF Colombia office began this work through an existing partnership with youth volunteers to train them on use of the kit and to prepare them to work with displaced adolescents across 6 regions of the country. Their program focuses on building adolescents' competencies by promoting children's rights, promoting peaceful coexistence, and promoting reconciliation. The adolescents who have participated in the program are now applying their newly acquired skills to bring positive change within a very complex context, ending violence through peer education, and by creating a dialogue within their communities. And the Adolescent Kit resources were only recently translated in full into Spanish, and with these translations, the UNICEF Colombia office, with its youth volunteer partners, hopes to build on their pilot initiative and expand the use of the kit. They're going to introduce approaches and activities from the kit into existing child-friendly spaces and also reach and engage migrants from Venezuela. Next. And so now I just want to tell you about an additional package of resources that's also part of the Adolescent Kit, and that's designed especially for use in the current COVID-19 context. In March 2020, with the onset of the COVID-19 crisis, UNICEF's ADAPT team began an initiative to respond to the needs of adolescents who were immediately affected by this new emergency by adapting some of the guidance and tools from the original Adolescent Kit. And the original Adolescent Kit was designed to bring adolescents together face to face to build connections and to collaborate on projects. But due to the stay-at-home orders in many countries, we found that we needed a new approach to reach and engage adolescents who are isolated in their homes. So the adapted package for COVID-19 includes competency-based activities that are adapted from the original kit, and also some energizers and inspiration cards from the original kit that are actually still feasible for those under stay-at-home orders. And all of the resources in this adapted package can be used by adolescents who are working at home independently, or maybe who are ready to collaborate with other household members if they wish to do so. So an essential goal of the adapted package is to support adolescents in having fun, taking a break from stress, and exploring their own creativity as they cope with uncertain and isolating circumstances. This adapted package offers resources and strategies to reach adolescents remotely, including by engaging them in activities and dialogues via WhatsApp and similar platforms, such as or via radio or TV, or for those with no access to other technologies, by providing printed cards with activity instructions. And the main target of the adapted package is adolescents themselves who work on activities independently or with others in their households. And there are instructions in this adapted package that are also for the program coordinators and for parents and educators to support adolescents as they engage in the activities. Next slide. Here's just a more descriptive overview of what's in the adapted package. It includes 12 activity guides, which are adaptations from the original kit. And these are step-by-step guides that explain to adolescents how to do an activity, what they might create and learn as they do it, how to keep creating and learning from it, and how to share it with others through online or offline possible channels. And these activity guides are designed to be ready to use in all contexts, and they offer options for facilitated or unfacilitated sessions. From the original kit, the adapted package also includes From the original kit, the adapted package also includes energizer cards with instructions for short fun games or restful activities, and inspiration cards, which offer those creative ideas for projects to keep adolescents motivated and interested. It also includes facilitator guides, which are guides for planning and facilitating activity sessions with adolescents, perhaps by mobile app or even by radio or TV. So the facilitator guides include a list of prompts for facilitators to help adolescents through the activities, and also to give them additional ideas to help share what they've created, engage with in a dialogue with each other, and continue their creativity and learning if they wish. And the adapted package also includes guides for parents or caregivers for supporting adolescents as they work on these activities. And these guides include instructions for parents and caregivers, such as a list of prompts they can use to help adolescents understand the activities, and additional ideas for how they, adolescents, or even other household members might work together if they want to continue learning and building competencies together as a household. These guides also remind parents to let adolescents take the lead in whether they prefer to work on the activities independently, or if adolescents want support, or if adolescents want a chance to work together with their parents or caregivers or others in their household. Next slide. So I hope this presentation has been a helpful introduction to the Adolescent Kit for Expression and Innovation. And we also hope that with the Adolescent Kit, we've created a resource that you and your partners find easy to navigate, adapt, and use in your work with adolescents. So to conclude, I just wanted to offer one more reminder of where you can find all of the resources for the Adolescent Kit, both the original and adapted. So you can follow these links on this slide to download and browse these resources anytime. If you do want to learn more, please do visit the Adolescent Kit website at www.adolescentkit.org. It includes the complete collection of all of the kit's resources and supporting materials. You'll be able to find the guidance, tools, and activities, and more information about the supply kit, as well as some training resources that you could use with your partners if you're using the kit. Also on the website, you can find a recording of this presentation and other webinars, as well as training videos, country office examples, and a link to the Adolescent Kit YouTube channel. And you can also contact our help desk by emailing adolescentkit@unicef.org. And we hope you found this overview of the Adolescent Kit helpful, and thank you very much for your time and interest.